Canada. It's our home. Over the last 25 years, we've worked with hundreds of volunteers building a series of projects for Canada's 150th birthday. These projects are so exciting that we're beginning the process now, a few years in advance, so they'll be ready for July 1st, 2017. One of the projects is Halifax 57 Rescue Canada. In it, we have a collection of invaluable interviews recorded with Canadian war veterans since 1983. Featuring a series of educational documentaries on aviation, including Halifax NA 337 from Norway, Halifax LW 682 from Belgium, and the unveiling of the Bomber Command Memorial in London, England. This recorded material shows who we are as Canadians. We did this for Canada, and now we need your help. By using the internet, this program will reach everyone in the country with ideas that will help build Canada's aviation future in the 21st century. In association with the Bomber Command Museum of Canada in Nanton, Alberta, we are rebuilding a World War II Halifax aircraft for Canada. We want to involve more Canadians, and if you'd like to volunteer, or more importantly become a sponsor, this is the time to become part of the Halifax 57 Rescue Canada project. This 4-year national program needs funding to be sure it will be ready for 2017. It is a journey about how aviation shaped our nation. Even if it's a $75 personal contribution from individual Canadians or a major corporate or government sponsor, every donation will be invested in making this educational project a winner. Become a sponsor today and help us turn 25 years of hard work into the most incredible birthday present we could ever give to our country on its 150th birthday. The Halifax 57 Rescue Canada project. For Canada, for Canadians, for our future.
You all know what this is. This is one of the aluminium, you see, Martin, I said that right, aluminium ingots that we sent to England that became part of the ceiling of the ultimate Bomber Command Memorial. They turned this into aluminium sheet and made the skylight of the Bomber Command Memorial right near Buckingham Palace out of these ingots from a combat Canadian Halifax. And it's because of this metal that this gentleman is here today, because the Bomber Command Association are partners in building this ceiling. We're talking to Martin, and Martin contacted me, and the rest is history. You will have a great presentation today. Please see Martin afterwards if you're interested in any of his great books. And Martin, we're very pleased that your daughter Anne lives in Calgary so that you could come here today. But it comes from Bomber Command and our connection. So we do appreciate you being here, and I'll hand it over to you, sir. Away you go, Martin.
Am I live? Yes, obviously I am. I always do a little test, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all good Canadians go to heaven. Anyway, I think you want me to be serious. Carl's been very, very helpful. Well-known man in Bomber Command circles. I am an uninvited guest to Canada. I have financed my own trip, which is a combination of tourism, adventure, meeting people, giving talks, selling a few books. I've driven from Vancouver to Calgary, but I've seen nothing of the great cities of Eastern Canada, so I set up a tour starting at St. John's, where I had to learn, Carl, how to say Newfoundland, just how you've had to learn how to say aluminium instead of aluminum. Is that right?
Yep.
And then I went to Halifax, and then I went to Montreal, and then I went to Ottawa, and then I went to Toronto, and now I finished up at Calgary for a little holiday with my daughter, and this well-organised meeting, which is going to start on time if I get on with it. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to talk to you about the Nuremburg Raid. We need to go back 2 years to the arrival of two things at Bomber Command headquarters. One is a new commander, Sir Arthur Harris, and the other is a new policy, a major change of bombing Germany, with the only way that Britain could strike back at Germany at that time, and that was area bombing. Contentious subject, but it was, I cannot see any other way that Bomber Command could have hit back at Germany at that time, because a report published at the end of 1941 had shown that Bomber Command wasn't hitting anything. Sometimes they weren't even hitting the right town. So Harris is put in charge of this new policy, and they're going to send him a lot of new aircraft, a lot of 4-engine bombers. They're going to start sending him a lot of new technology, and I'm going to be referring to some of these as I go along. He's got a free hand until April the 1st. No one knows it's April the 1st until later, but the idea is that I thought the door was going to come down at the front. Maybe somebody's on his way. Where was I? Yes. Yep, we're going to send you a lot of new bombers, Mr. Harris. We've got area bombing. You can interpret that how you like. We're not going to provide you close observation. This is the Air Ministry. He's working for the Air Ministry. Bomber Command is the next lower level. And he decides to treat the first year as experimental. So he's not going to dash straight into action and send everything off every night. Has quite a good start. They find that fire is the best way to destroy property. And they found that out from the London Fire Brigade, who'd had enough experience in 1941, 42 and the Blitz, that you can destroy a building faster by fire than you can by dropping high explosive bombs on it. So Bomber Command is becoming a fire-raising force. They try it out on two towns, Lübeck and another one up there somewhere. I have to think of it in a minute, but I don't want to keep leaving the map, the notes. Lübeck and Rostock, I think. Yep. Old towns, burn well. He puts on the 1,000 bomber raid, which is successful. He creates the bomber stream. First time anybody's used the bomber stream. Until then, aircraft have been allowed to take off whenever the aircraft captain wanted to. He could take his own route to the target. But now there's going to be the bomber stream. Each aircraft is given a height, a course, a time, and that is to avoid collision, but it's to pass everybody through the German defences in one narrow line if possible. I'll talk about German defences later. You start off quite well. The Pathfinder force is created. Pathfinder force is designed to find the target city, which is very often impossible in the earlier days, and then, if possible, to find the aiming point where the main force is going to come in. So Pathfinders are all out in front, backed up by other Pathfinders on the way. So that's the first year, and then we come to beginning of 1943, and we start what Harris calls in his own book the main offensive. This is the answer to what I call the bomber dream. The bomber dream is that air power, properly used through the bombardment of German cities, can destroy Germany from within and prevent the need for the attack on Normandy, the invasion of Normandy. It's very ambitious. and they fling resources at Bomber Command. They've got training fields all the way to Nanton and all the around here, and to Rhodesia and to Kenya, and Americans, even before the Americans come in the war, are training British aircrew. So the crews are coming forward. The factories are producing these 4-engine bombers. First of all the Sterling, then the Halifax and the Lancaster. There are things looking good. And he gets off in 1943 to an extremely good start. This is where I need to start walking around. First of all comes what is known as the Battle of the Ruhr. This is the battle of the Ruhr area. These are flak defended areas. And the Battle of the Ruhr is very successful because of the second of the new devices. Why I say the second is, I've forgotten to tell you earlier on, that one of the things developed in 1942 was GEE. And I'm only going to tell you that now because it becomes important later. G is like a lattice of electrical pulses sent out as radio waves, and pretty useful. It can get a bomber within about 5 miles of where it needs to be. Forget about that for the time being. I'll come back to V later, G later. But the Ruhr is a grand success for another new device called OBO. OBO, to my mind, is the most significant device to help Bomber Command in the whole war. It consists of a very narrow, precise beam transmitted from 2 different places in England. And when it coincides, that is exactly where the bombs are going to drop. It's no good for a 4-engined aircraft because the curvature of the Earth means that the beam has gone off into space. But we've got this beautiful 2-engined aircraft called the Mosquito, which can gain another 10,000 feet. And that means that the Ruhr is within the range of OBO. There's the range of OBO. So it's the Mosquitoes that are using the beams, and the Pathfinder force are then backing up the Mosquito markers. And in the spring of 1943, the Ruhr is very, very heavily damaged. Then comes the Dams raid, which we know all about, very big booster for morale. And then finally in 1943, the Battle of Hamburg. I never wrote a book about the Battle of the Ruhr. I did about the Battle of Hamburg.